Hi students, today again we are going to discuss a third term test paper for grade 6 students. So we have selected the Northwestern Province, what's the year? 2018, yes, Northwestern Province 2018 third term test paper, and we'll go through each and every question and let's check uh, whether we can remember the things what we have learned in grade 6. Alright, okay, starting now. Right. So for the moment we have completed 160 questions, different past papers. So the questions today are starting from question number 161. Right. Write the number represented by following tally marks. So there is a number represented using tally marks, asking us what's the number represented by these tally marks. Right. When you consider a bundle like this, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 line segments. So this represent 5. Again, this bundle represent 5. So 5 plus 5 plus, the remaining amount is 2. So 5 plus 5 plus 2, the number represented by using these tally marks is equals to 10. The number represented by the tally marks is equals to 10. Alright, question number next 162. Filling the blanks with the suitable value. So number of 200 grams amounts in 1 kilogram. When it comes to the theory part, what we need to know here in order to get the answer for this question is the relationship between kilograms and grams. So what we know is 1000 grams is equals to a kilogram. 1000 grams is equals to a kilogram. So that means there are 1000 grams in 1 kilogram. Right. So how many 200s are there in 1000? That is what is asking in the question. The number of 200 grams amounts in 1 kilogram. So how many 200s will be there in 1000? Yes, 1000 divided by 200. So it's equals to 5. So the number of 200 grams in the amount of 1 kilogram is equals to 5. The number of 500 grams amounts in 1 kilogram. Number of 500 grams amounts in 1 kilogram, right? Again, how many 500s are there for 1000? 2, right? So the answer is 2. So the number of 500 grams amounts in 1 kilogram is 2, right? So what we need to learn, what we need to remember here is the relationship between kilograms and grams. So 1 kilogram is equals to 1000 grams. Refer the number line and write down all the integers between A and B, right? Two things that we need to understand here, right? When it comes to marking numbers, representing numbers using number lines, right? Few things that we need to remember. Pute, what does it mean by an integer? What are integers? So in grade 6, right, we understand integers as whole numbers, negative or positive whole numbers, we can consider them as integers, right? For an example, negative 5 is an integer, positive 7 is an integer, right? Any whole number is considering as an integer. What are the numbers that we cannot consider as integers? Now when it comes to 2.5, a mixed number, 5.25, a decimal number, these numbers are not integers. So integers are normally we are considering them as whole numbers, right? What is the number represented by A in this number line? Negative 4. What is the number represented as B in this number line? Positive 3. So what are the whole numbers, integers you have in between? Refer the number line and write down all the integers between A and B. So here negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. These are the integers we have in this number line in between A and B. I hope that's clear. Write down a suitable name for group. There's a printing mistake. Group A based on its common characteristics. Pute, we have a group named as A. So what we have as A? We have number 1, we have number 4, number 9, number 16. These are some special numbers. Can you remember what kind of numbers are these? These are considered as what? Yes, square numbers. Can you remember? So these are calling as square numbers. Right? So do we have all the square numbers mentioned here? All the square numbers? No. Right? So we have square numbers, let's say from 0 to let's say 20. Right? Shall we write down the square numbers? Shall we write down the first 10 square numbers? How are we going to get the first 10 square numbers? If you want to get the first square number, what we have to do? You need to multiply 1 by 1. So 1 times 1 is 1. 1 is a square number. That is the first square number. Then once you multiply 2 by 2, the answer is 4. 4 is the second square number. 3 times 3, 9. 9 is a square number. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 is a square number. 5 times 5, 25. 25 is a square number. 6 times 6, 36. 36 is a square number. 7 times 7, 49. 8 times 8, 64. 9 times 9, 81. 10 times 10, 100. So these are the first 10 square numbers. Can you remember? Now in the same lesson, we have learnt about triangular numbers as well. Check whether you can remember what triangular numbers are. Okay, right. Let's move into the next set of questions. Right. Okay. Question number 165. Name the A and B. Name the A and B angles on the given figure. So what kind of an angle is A? This shape, can you remember? This is calling as an acute angle. Yes, A is an acute angle. A is an acute angle. B, what kind of an angle is this? B is a reflex angle. We are calling it as a reflex angle. Right? So here, this kind of an angle, we are calling it as an acute angle. The next one is the right angle. This shape is calling as a right angle. If you have an angle into this particular shape, this is calling as an obtuse angle. Then when it comes to a straight line segment, again there is an angle forming. This is a straight angle. This is a straight angle. And the final one, the largest type, is a reflex angle. Alright, hope you can remember. Yes. Alright, okay, moving on. 63 million 4. Write down in standard form. 63 million 4. Write down in standard form. Right. Let me separate the number into number zones. So we have millions period, thousands period, and units period. So this is units period. This is thousands period. This is thousands period. This is millions period. Right? So 63 million. So under the millions on, I need to put 63. So 63 million. If you want, you can put a 0 digit at the front, the beginning of the number. Doesn't require at this moment, right? Okay, 63 million and then 4. Is this correct? So in between, what we need to do? Yes, in order to get the correct answer, each number period should be completed with 3 digits, right? මතකයි නේද? හැම number period එකක්ම digits 3කින් පිරෙන්න එපේ, right? So even though you don't have anything here, you just can't keep it blank. So what we need to do is, on the thousands period, on the 3 spaces, what we need to do is we have to put 3 zeros, right? අපිට මෙතන බිංදු 3ක් දාන්න වෙනවා නේද? 63 million 4004, right? මෙයා වරදිනවා සමහර අයට පොඩක් බලන්න. So 63 million 4. Write down in standard 4. Okay? Shalini had X amount of rupees. She spends 10 rupees from it. Write down an algebraic expression for the remaining money. So Shalini had X amount of rupees. Out of that X amount of rupees, now she is spending 10 rupees. So 10 rupees will be reducing from her account, right? From her, let's say the pocket, right? So we have to we have to subtract this 10 rupees from the initial amount she had, which is X amount of rupees. Now the remaining amount of rupees will be X minus 10. Very easy. Now let's say Shalini initially had 100 rupees, and if she spent 10 rupees, now in order to find out the remaining amount, what we have to simply do is, you need to subtract 10 from 100. So the remaining amount will be 90 rupees, right? So here, this is the maximum possible, the maximum possible amount that we can solve this algebraic expression, right? You can't simplify this algebraic expression further more than this. මීට වඩා මේක simplify කරන්න බෑ පුතේ algebraic expression එක. හරි? මේක you have to keep it as it is. All right? Am I clear enough? Yes? Okay. Right. Next set of questions. Right, select and mark a tick the variables out of the following statements. Now we have to select what are the variables. Variables කියලා කියන්නේ පුතේ වෙනස් වෙනවා. value එක වෙනස් වෙනවා along with the time. කාලයත් එක්ක වෙලාව වෙනස් වෙනවා නම් කාලයත් එක්ක ඒ amount එක වෙනස් වෙනවා නම් ඒකට අපි කියනවා variable එකක් කියලා. කාලයත් එක්ක වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැත්තම් it is calling as a constant. Clear? Alright. Hari. The number of limes in 1 kilogram of limes. මේ බලන්නකෝ. ඔයා කවදා හරි අපි හිතමුකෝ සුපර් මාකට් එකට ගිහිල්ලා 2 කිලෝග්‍රෑම් එකක් ගන්නවා කියලා. එතකොට 2 කිලෝග්‍රෑම් එකකට අපි හැමදාම හරිද හැමදාම කියන්නේ අපි හිතමුකෝ සතියකට සැරයක් යනවා කියලා. ඒතර 2 කිලෝග්‍රෑම් එකක් ගන්නකොට සමහර දවස්වලට දෙහි ගෙඩි ලොකුයි නම් තියෙන ඒවා කිලෝග්‍රෑම් එකකට අල්ලන ගෙඩි ප්‍රමාණය අඩුයි. සමහර දවස්වලට සුපර් මාකට් එකේ තියෙනවා දෙහි ගෙඩි හරි චූටි. එතකොට කිලෝග්‍රෑම් එකකට අල්ලන දෙහි ගෙඩි ප්‍රමාණය වැඩි. එකම ප්‍රමාණයක්ද? අද ගෙඩි 10ක් නම් කිලෝග්‍රෑම් එකකට අහුනේ. ඊළඟ සතියේත් නැත්නම් ඊළඟ මාසෙත් මම සුපර් මාකට් එකෙන් 2 කිලෝග්‍රෑම් එකක් ගන්නකොට ගෙඩි 10ම වෙන්න පුළුවන්ද? ගොඩක් වෙලාවට එහෙම වෙන්න බෑනේ. Right? So the number of limes in 1 kilogram of lime, what do you think? Is that a constant or is that a variable? It's a variable, right? It changes with the time, right? It changes with the occasion. The number of grams in 1 kilogram, what do you think? Is it changing along with the time? Right? All the time 1 kilogram is equals to, all the time 1 kilogram is equals to 1000 grams. It doesn't change at all, right? So it's a constant value. So this is not a variable. Let's put a cross. All right. Okay. Right. So we need to fill the blanks here. We need to fill the blanks here. Let's give a try on this question quickly. Right. 5 plus 0 plus 5 is 5. Now this should be 12, right? So 5 plus something equals 12. 5 plus 7 is equals to 12. There's a printing mistake, it seems, right? And you have to bring, okay, there's a printing mistake. Okay, right. Shall we correct this as 2? Right. Now give a try, will you? Give a try on this question. There's a typo. Let's give a try on this question. Right. 5 plus 7 is 12. You have 1 left. 1 plus 1 is 2. Let's put a 0 digit here. 2 plus 0 is 2. So 2 plus 4, 2 plus 4 gives you 6. Right? 2 plus 4 gives you 6. Question number 170. Simplify. Asking us to add 2 decimal numbers. Pute, we need to be careful when we adding or subtracting decimal numbers. The decimal point should be placed in a vertical line segment when you're doing these calculations. So that's the requirement, right? So 10.8. This is how we are reading this number. Next number is 3.25. Check the way that I'm writing 3.25. 3.25. Now if you really want to put a digit to here, the digit we can put in here is 0. Let me add these two numbers together. 0 plus 5, 5. 8 plus 2 is 10. You have 1 left. Let's bring that one to the next, the unit in the next place. 1 plus 3 is 4. And here we have 2. Final answer 24.05. 24.05. This is how we are adding decimal numbers. Alright? Okay. Shall we move on? Right. How many circles shown in the given figure? Right. This is one circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You just have to count the number of circles, which is 7. Write down the suitable measuring units for below. Amount of the petrol, right? In order to measure some amount of petrol, what is the unit we can use? Yes, most of the time we are using liters. Milliliters also, let's consider it as a correct answer, right? But what I'm suggesting is the liters will be the unit we are using more frequently. Okay, the medicine amount for a dose. Most of the time, yes, almost all the time we are using milliliters, right? When you were, let's say 5 years, 6 years, can you remember? Our medicinal syrup ne issara bonne chuti kale neda, chuti cup එකකින් milliliters 5ක් milliliters 7ක් ඔහොමනේ බොන්න දෙන්නේ නේද? Right? Okay. Right. 173. The weight of the toy car given below is 1 kilogram and 20 grams. Write down the weight in terms of grams. Right? The weight of the toy car given is 1 kilogram and 20 grams. Write down the weight in grams. Write down the weight in grams. Pute. So 1 kilogram and 20 grams. We have to write that in terms of grams. Okay, we already have 20 grams. So what we simply have to do is you need to convert this 1 kilogram into grams. So we know the relationship, right? So 1 kilogram is equals 1000 grams. So on top of that 1000 grams, we have another additional 20 grams. So 1000 grams plus 20 grams gives you 1020 grams. So write down the given weight in terms of grams. Answer is 1020 grams. Round off below weights into the nearest 10. So when you round off 54 to the nearest multiple of 10 equals to 50. We have done, right, lot of questions with regards to these lessons, right? You have to refer to the previous 8 papers before you participate in your term test again, okay? විභාගයට කලින් ආපහු බලන්න මේ අපි කරන්නේ කීවෙනි පේපර් එකද 9 වෙනි පේපර් එකනේ අර papers 8 කරන්න හොඳේ okay 177 kilograms. So once you round off 177 kilograms, what's the answer? Yes, 180 kilograms. Let's put the unit as well, 180 kilograms. All right. Okay, move on. Next question is, write 3:20 p.m. in international standard form, right? Now this is post meridian after 12 noon time, right? So what we need to do? So we have to add another 12 for this number 3, right? We have to add another 12 for this number 3. When you're writing numbers, the post meridian times, we have to add 12. Hope you can remember. So 12 plus 3 is 15. So when we writing the time using standard form, we are putting 15 and put these two dots and 20. So how are we reading this? 15 hours and 20 minutes. So this is how we are writing the number, writing the time in standard form. This represent 22 students. Okay, we have given these 3 symbols. So these 3 symbols represent 22 students who have taken more than 90 marks for the maths paper. How many students will represent by a symbol like circle? So what is the amount represented by this circle? Very good question. Right, Pute. So if it is represent 8 using a circle, what do you think? Half of a circle represent 4, quarter of a circle represent 2, then 3/4 will be represent 6, right? Okay, can you give a try now? What do you think? If you consider this as 8 and this also should be equals to 8, what is the amount represented by this amount? This equals to 6, right? Okay, so 8 plus 8 is 16, 16 plus 6 is 22, right? So how many students will be represented by this symbol? What is the answer? 8 students will be represented by this symbol. 8 students will be represented by this symbol. Okay. If a vehicle travels 180 kilometers in 2 hours on a highway, find the distance, okay, find the distance that vehicle travels in 7 hours. Now this vehicle travels 180 kilometers in 2 hours. So what is the distance travel? What is the distance travel in 1 hour? 180 kilometers in 2 hours. So the distance traveled in 1 hour will be, yes, 90 kilometers. Find the distance that the vehicle travel in 7 hours. So how to get the answer? Distance travel in 7 hours equals 90 times 7. Yes, 90 times 7 is equals 630 kilometers. Hope I'm correct. So the distance traveled in 7 hours will be equals to 630 kilometers. Okay? Right, let's move on. Right. Read this question, will you? Find the length of an edge the solid will be made using the given net. So what is the solid we can make out of this net? Can you remember? We can make a tetrahedron. Right? Can you remember the solid tetrahedron? Matakaid. We can make a tetrahedron using this net. Okay? Right. Now when it comes to a tetrahedron, it's a solid with 4 triangular faces. Now the question is, find the length of an edge the solid will be made using the given net. So the length of an edge will be the distance from here to here, because this gives you the length of 2 edges, right? So we are having 2 edges in this particular net. So what is the length of an edge? 8 divided by 2. Length of an edge should be 4 centimeters. Length of an edge should be 4 centimeters. The value of 1 sterling pound is 219 Sri Lankan rupees. The value of 1 sterling pound is 219 Sri Lankan rupees. What is the value of 11 sterling pounds? What is the value of 11 sterling pounds in Sri Lankan rupees? The value of 1 sterling pound is 219 rupees. Alright. What is the value of 11 sterling pounds? Right. Value of 1 sterling pound. Value of 1 sterling pound equals 219 rupees. Asking us the value of 11 sterling pounds. Value of 11 sterling pounds. Value of 11 sterling pounds. So this 219 we have to multiply it by 11. Shall we multiply 219 by 11? 11 times 9, 99, we have 9 left. 11 times 1, 11 plus 9 is 20, we have 2 left. 11 times 2, 22 plus 2, 24. Am I correct? Here the answer is 2409. Here the answer is 2409. Alright? Okay. I hope your answer is correct. Right? Moving on. Right. So we are moving into the last question of this paper. What it says. Okay. The product of two numbers is 72. Product of two numbers is 72. And the difference between that two numbers is 1. So the product means, can you remember? Right? Product. What does it mean by product, right? Now, when you multiplying a number with another number, the outcome, the answer, we are calling it as the product. So, we have, let's say we have two numbers. Once you multiply them together, the answer is equals to 72. That is what it says. The product of two numbers is 72, right? So get familiarized with the term product. Product is basically the answer you get after multiplying two numbers. Clear? So the product of two numbers 72, right? Now we have two numbers. Once you multiply these two numbers, that is equals to 72. But the difference between these two numbers is equals to 1. Find the two numbers. So what are the two numbers? Yes, you need to think a little in order to get the answer. What do you think? Let's say once you multiply 9 by 8, 9 times 8 gives you 72. Here the difference between 9 and 8 is 1. So what is the answer? The two numbers they are talking is 9 and 8. Alright, nice. So we have discussed 20 third term test past paper questions, right? Altogether we have completed 180 questions so far. So next week we will be completing 200 questions, right? So we have done, I think, enough amount of questions for you to get prepared for the third term test. So if you find any difficulties or if you have any clarifications, you can contact me through this number, and okay, and you can contact me and get the required clarifications, and also you can get information about our classes as well. All right, so I'm going to stop the class for the day today, and let's meet again next week, and we will be completing question number 200 by next week. See you soon. Goodbye.